Hello guys, happy to be with you today. Ruben from The 5ers Trading Room. You know, we are in a bit different environment, so before we start, just let me know that the um, the sound is good, that you see me, and then we're going to move straight to the market. I already have an open position, which I opened a few minutes ago, and yeah, interesting. Happy to be with you today, guys, as usual. Um, yeah, and hope the microphone is good. It's again new setup, um, so yeah, let me know. Loud and clear. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for the feedback. Hi Jan. Hi David. Hi Glee. Hi everyone. Thank you for being with me. I will go straight into the market just to show you a short trade that I'm taking. It's a short scalp, so I'm going to get out in a very few next minutes. Um, so here I am. Just for people that are very new with my strategy and I trade the market, but here is M1 charts, pound yen, quite setup that I like to see, which is we have a key zone here, which is from a great key zone. It was a support. We make a retest first time, and we make a second retest. We see stochastics at that spot crossing above 80, which is here overextended for me. We are at the top of the Bollinger Band, so this was quite for me an entry. Of course, if you see the M5 and if we see, let's say, like the M15, it's an uptrend, but again, the uptrend is on a bit more like starting to compress. So that's why for me this was a nice spot to enter. I would probably exit some of the trade. Here we are the average, so I would exit here half of my position and already remove my stop loss to break even. Um, okay. So this is also the type of trade that I'm taking using my strategy, using scalping. Sorry that was a bit fast. I took this like few minutes before the trading room. You see the opening time here, which is my time 56, 3:56, which actually my time is 4. So yeah, part of the game, being able to go in the market at any moment of time. Let's look at the chat. I'm swinging the dollar down. Hi Grim. Yeah, we're going to talk about the dollar also today. Again, I just want to look and find out how this position turned out, but you see it quite clear that we have an uptrend on M15 on the pound yen. If you go to the daily chart, even we don't see this move here, but um, let me get rid of the trade levels. You see on H4 we actually today on the London session, if I believe. Let me check where we just touched this one and bounce. Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, so yesterday we start already pushing up the price, pushing up the price up because we touched this demand. Like the main explanation would be, yeah, we touched the demand. We had here a huge overextended movement. Stochastics was below 20. So again, this is the movement I will explain looking my chart and looking my indicators. So that's why actually we started a small uptrend from here. But again, we are starting to get back to the average price that we've seen during the last quarter of December. If I take this as the zone, here would be the average. So we are not so far in the H4 chart. Again, for people that found here buy, which is I think a nice setup also to open a buy at the bottom. And if you go to the daily chart, it's also coordinating with, you see, all this long area. Okay, so of course the zone is big. There is like probably 20 pips between the top and the bottom of this range. But again, it was very easy to see that on the H4 chart. Huge demand here, stochastics. Risk reward would be totally phenomenal here. We can open a buy here, whatever it is, and push the stop loss just below the latest low. So yeah, here the risk reward would be also a nice spot to enter. So again, looking at the M5 and M1 chart, this was for me a nice entry at least. I would do the same. It would be if I don't know if it was a H4 chart or daily chart. We have a long uptrend movement with at least no retracement. If we identify all of this movement, there is at least no retracement, and then we reach and we go straight into a big key zone. We are losing momentum, so I'm expecting the price to go back to the mean, which is around this zone. This is the mean. Okay, so I took here 12 pips, which is not so bad on the pound yen. And again, we are still in. Okay, we just we move stop loss to break even, and we will take the other part probably at the bottom, which probably here. So let me put back again. The trade levels would be, the take profit would be probably around that zone, which is the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. So yeah, it's a nice spot again for today for me, and I managed quite well here the position. Quite tricky because it's still an uptrend, but when you go and you dig into when you do like a zoom in and you go into lower time frame like M5 or M1, you say, okay, here might be here a retrace or any movement down that we starting create. So yeah, we will let the price moving down. We already close profits, and if we go back and take the full profit here, would be more than happy for that. We can also trade the profit again. Actually, I don't see the sense of doing that because the price is actually reacting well. But if I see the price starting to make any movement ups and down on that side, I will probably remove my stop loss. Let's say not remove it, but make my stop loss closer to the price. The fact is that when you scalp here in this situation, when you make a trailing stop, you don't let the price moving too much, which means you will put the stop loss maybe 2 or 3 pips, and you will not let the price turning and making the action. So this is why this is not the best. Again, I'm talking here, it can work in this situation, but if we do it time after time in a lot of positions, trailing your stop loss will cut your profit. So this is not what I'm advising to do on a scalp position. If we look to H4, so of course here there is a lot of value and a lot of pips. If this is an H4 chart, I will definitely move my my stop loss closer here, which is the top of this zone. But actually, I don't see any reason. Okay. Hi Patrick, happy to see you there. Thank you for the feedback. Hi James, is there any reason you have your stochastics is 1485? Listen, I've been making a lot of back testings and making manual execution by using 1485 stochastics and 1433, and I found it 1485 also being the default in other platform. I remember, I don't know, maybe TradingView or TT, which is trading technologies, any software platform, that sometimes 1485 is also the default. So making my backtest and looking what I'm searching in the chart, this settings is working better and give me like not a lot of noise. Sometimes when I also try to trade using 1433 settings, it gives me quite a lot of noise. So here I think I found the great balance for me and for my strategy and for moving up. For me, it's complicated to have a 3 pip stop loss. Yeah, that's exactly what I explained just before. That's why I will not trail my stop loss on a short scalp position on the M1 chart. Okay, definitely. And by entering this position, definitely, like if I were opening here, my stop loss would be above this big zone here. Okay, that would be where I would put my stop loss, which would be around that. Okay, and there would be a high chance also that if the price from here would have continued into against me, so I would probably had another sell. I don't know, probably in the middle of this range, which is also a key zone. But here the price goes straight in my way. You see, it's just behaving like that here and then going down. So yeah, we're going to see. Okay, I just want to make, as usual, a disclaimer, guys. Just put the full camera, but as you know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm here for you to help and assist you, but any of the trade I'm taking and any of the analysis I'm doing is only for an educational purposes. Risk is at your own, trading is at your own risk, and it's up to your own decisions. I'm only providing any educational contents and showing my ideas about market, but again, this is not an advice, and this will never be a financial advice. Always important to mention. And again, what is good here in this type of trading room is that I like to have interaction with you on the chat and talking about markets, and some people can also have different ideas and different mindset, and we will discuss, and it will be like an open session altogether. Okay, I like that we have interaction between you and me, guys, so don't hesitate to ask question on the chat, and ask me to analyze any chart, whatever. So again, very important to say that trading is at your own risk. So guys, be careful. There is always a risk management behind any trade I'm taking, even I'm not talking about the risk management behind this, but it's more like explaining the behavior of the chart and why and how I entered this trade. Okay, let's move back. Okay, I have a long position open on pound yen. Is it safe? Again, it depends, up to you. I don't know where you open the trade. I just talked about the H4 chart and find this opportunity. So if you open a buy here, which is a nice setup, try already to think about moving your stop loss to break even, or moving your stop loss to closer to the price. There is a lot of things you can do. Okay, if you buy on M15 and you buy the price here, for example, this is something else. Okay, so that's why you need to place your vision. You need to zoom out about where you open the price. Okay, I actually opened the price on a M1 and M5 situation, but maybe you'll look for H1 and H4, and being long here is not bad. Okay, because on H4 chart we just see already a bounce on the London session and the end of last week from that zone. Again, if I would be in a long position around that zone here, I would already manage my position, which means I will already move my stop loss to break even. I would probably take some part of profits because the price already got back to the average. And if you look to the daily chart, this is completely different, because if you look at the daily chart, there is some space to go here on the daily chart. So again, it's up to you, and it depends how you see the market. I'm reading you guys a bit on the chat. What about pound dollar? Yeah, so let's talk about dollar index and the dollar in general. Again, guys, if you know me, I like to check the dollar index at any time. So let's check the dollar index. I don't know if you see this. Okay. So here is the dollar index. Again, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, this is 8-4 chart, which is, I think, it's quite nice. We'll keep that. But here is a zone that we already mentioned quite before, which is making the retest. Maybe I can change here the time frame. Anyway, probably not. Anyway, on the H4 chart here, coordinate with a big key zone that we had on 2016 and 2020. This was a long zone, and the market just get back here. So from that point, and because we are also at the beginning of the year, here might be a price when we can let me just report and position timeouts. Okay, here it might be a beginning of a zone. Let me see on 8-1 chart. Yeah, looks like here again in H1 and in H4 that dollar is not making any retrace at that point. We were in the zone. There are some CPI news inside. Again, it's only the H1, so we can have, as you said, Grim making a lower low and go to 101.50 and then moving back again. What I mentioned is that here is a big key zone, and we will see that in the Euro USD or Pound USD. Let's move into. Regarding the Pound Yen, I think the price just get back to my break even just here, so that's fine. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so this is all this zone. What I'm looking here is just all this zone here. I think if we go to the monthly chart, it's also, yeah, so we are still in the zone. You see, guys, on the Euro USD, for example, the price here make a bounce. We are close from the average on the monthly chart. On the weekly, we are already at the top of the Bollinger Bands, far from the average. So again, this is the zone, but the zone can be like that. Okay, it depends how you view, let's say, this zone. I will still continue with my analysis, and then I will continue what I said already. Amount of time. I will not open any buy position in the dollar in general. Okay, which means I will not making a buy here in the Euro USD on the long term, even on the Pound USD. Even there is already a nice movement up. Again, I'm waiting for any retrace at some point, making the price to go back to average. This is part of the things I'm looking for. And then if the price continues, that's fine. But again, making a buy here for me, it's still dangerous. So yeah, we still have to see again. What we have on H1. Maybe we can make here any reaction on M5. You see M30, H1. You see, this is type of the things that here, for example, by looking at my type of strategy and my type of chart, I will not make any sell here. Also, why? Because even if we are in a H1, let's say resistance from last week, I would say, okay, we are already at the top of the Bollinger Bands, but there are still some space on stochastics here. This is not so clear. And if you go to M30 again, you see the price is not crossing. There is not a losing momentum here. So this is the type of setup, okay, that I will not open a sell. Even this is a resistance, okay. Everyone that, you know, newbie traders that say, hey, we have a resistance here, so I can sell. But no, like here again, by looking at my type of chart and looking at the overall probability I have for the market to retrace here is relatively low, as we still have huge place for the momentum to go in and make a breakout. As you know, guys, I'm not looking for any breakouts. So here it is the type of scenarios that I would say it can be like a false signal. okay, by looking at this zone and making a sell. Of course, there are a lot of information. First of all, because it's a uptrend and the market is looking like making new higher high, like on the daily chart and H4 chart. Everything looks to top to the high. But even if we look to the M30, for example, there are still some space. Okay, so most of the time, the market will continue and make an higher high and break it. In some situation, of course, it can retrace, as this is still a big key zone from last week. But again, if you're very focused on your trading plan and you have your trading rules, again, I don't have the confirmation to make any sell position. Okay, so you need to stick to your plan, and this is actually what I'm doing. Hi Ruben, Euro USD 1.10 by February. Yeah, that's probably going to happen. 1 to 10 by February, where it is. 1 to 10, this is not so far actually. Yeah, of course, this is a target, you know, this is a relevant target. Again, if you long from July 2022, or I don't know when, but if you buy from here or from here, whenever it is, that's fine. Okay, you are close to the target. You can manage the trade. But if you expect the price from today going from 1 to 10, and say, okay, I will open a buy here because I expect the price to go 1 to 10, I will not doing it. Okay, myself. Maybe you, but personally, I would not taking the risk to open a buy position to expect the price going to 1 to 10. This can happen, but in my situation, and because I don't have any open position in the euro here, I will not make a buy. Even there is again chance that we break and that we reach 1 to 10. I agree with you, but you're nothing to make. The risk reward here is not so high. So I will wait. And let's move to GBP. Yeah, GBP is not so clear. Maybe we have here. It's quite the same setup as the euro. You see, guys, here there is not a losing momentum. We didn't cross above 80 on the stochastic, so there are still a momentum on the upside. Even on the M30, you see that we are actually dancing around a high point. So again, this can be here like, you know, a fake signal by looking at my type of chart. But again, I'm sticking to my plan. Not a big sell to do here. It can be very dangerous. Also on the H4 chart, you see we are in the middle. Yeah, I don't have any idea what we can do in the pound right now, especially right now. So yeah, let's try to move to dollar yen, because I think on dollar yen there are some very interesting stuff going on here. We have been analyzing the dollar yen also last week. I will just do it again, but it looks like elevator trading. What I mean is that the market is consistently breaking lower low and here on a regular basis. So what is good here by looking at my type of chart is here the price is making a breakout, big breakout, that's fine. I will wait the price to move and go here, and I will check, okay, what's the situation of the price here? Low consolidation, big key zone. Around here you see that we are already above 80 stochastic, so it's the beginning of starting the position, and we go down again. So here was a spot to make a short sell. Again, not to the bottom, but at least to here and the bottom. And it's quite the same here. You see long momentum on the upside. At least no retracement. What's happening here? Crossing 80 stochastics, still on the same key zone, going down. Again, this again can happen on this zone especially. Actually, the price is not. Yeah, we are not so far from the lowest point of December, like of December 2022. But again, the market is starting to make some reaction today here. Not the best spot for me, as there is not a long retracement, as we are not at the top of the Bollinger Bands. We are at the average actually on the H4. So yeah, I would leave it like that on the dollar yen again, not doing anything. What about gold? Gold is the same as Euro USD, big uptrend. I don't see any point to make an entry, only for day trades. You know, quite the same setup, breaking any big zone that we have. See, for example, this zone here. So you see, it's quite the same. Again, looking a big uptrend, respecting all the line here on gold. But again, if you look at the daily chart, and this is something I said already, gold and silver, which are metal commodities, have a very good opportunity that year and the next years to make a new high and breaking this. Again, if you're a trader and not an investor, quite difficult to position yourself when the market in gold already moved up from the bottom 16%. Okay, it's quite difficult. Again, I would not. I like to take this example, but it's like buying Bitcoin at $60,000. You know, wait the price to go down, making a retracement, let the price to breathe a bit, refreshing, and then going fresh. Okay, to the market. When you look to the long term, here on daily chart, of course, this is something different. We had a nice reaction earlier today on gold, touching this zone, which is also as a key zone. Stochastics almost cross here below 20. Yeah, and there is also a high chance to make a new high here. But again, the risk reward, in my opinion, here is not the best for making a buy. So again, my vision, let's say my contrarian vision, which means like all the time looking to reverse the market, is not the best when we have long trend movement in the market. Okay. You know, when we have, I don't know, maybe we can find some other pairs. You know, when we have some pairs like that, you see, for example, all this zone, I don't know, for example, here, it's like a black one for me. You need consolidation, ups and down, coming back to average. So when we have not a lot of trend, this is quite a playground. Okay. However, when the market is on a big trend like that on gold, it's quite very difficult for me to find a buy position or to find a reversal, and it can be tricky. Okay, so I prefer when the market is like slowing down and all the time coming back to average. That's why also I choose Forex for this type of strategy, because Forex, we know that mainly is a cycle. Okay, it's not like looking at stocks, where mainly stocks is going up in the long term. If it's a good stocks, it can start at 10 and then next year it will be 20 and then 30 and then 100 and then 200. So the cycle in Forex is more comfortable for my vision of reversal, let's say a trader. Of course, I can apply this in stocks. You see, this is quite the same setup. If you know that time after time stocks and indices are going up, so I will all the time looking for buying positions or after the market retrace. And if we look at the S&P, for example, if you will remember, guys, which was a wonderful position I had last week. You see, we identified this zone here. So the market was overextended here, coming back down into this zone, and we found, especially, you see, after that the market starting to cross here, okay, a zone for the market to make a buy. We also see that on the H4 chart. Big key zone, market breaking out, coming back, and again, I'm expecting for the beginning of 2023, stock market and let's say US indices to have a fresher and moving up, at least from that point, and the market like completely moved 3% from here. Of course, I didn't hold until here, but again, and it was the same here, guys. You see, when we had CPI last week, key zone, very big key zone here, market. Here it was a bit more difficult to enter because it was during the news. So if you have some balls, of course, you can open a buy here. But if you're a bit more patient, you wait only here and say, okay, we are still in the key zone. I go to lower time frame, and I see here that from here, the market already stochastics way below 20. We are at 2, making a small price action. You can combine a lot of things, and here, boom, the price continue make a new high. So even let's say my mindset and my strategy works better in a consolidation environment. You can still apply this mindset and this theory into trend assets. Okay. Of course, when we look at gold, I just want you to show gold. When looking at that on H4 chart or daily chart, there is at least no entry here. It's quite very difficult to find an entry zone. But on the S&P, for example, on H4, you see there are some elevators. You see, I call this like elevators all the time. We jump a floor. You see, so that's probably what's going to happen today. Again, you see, we are probably going to break out this one, which is big key zone, and then a big breakout, and then again we go back down. We make a retest. We have to, again, this doesn't mean that if we go down to this zone we need to make a buy. You need to find where are your Bollinger Bands, where are stochastics, and why to risk reward, and what is the context of the market, and then you make your decision and your execution. So again, this is a big mindset. Setup of Bollinger Bands, it's the classic one. It's a standard deviation of 2. I just want to see again the pound yen. We had a position there. Yeah, again the market make a new high and just come back again from here. Stochastics again losing momentum, high movement, top of Bollinger Bands, moving down. This could be short scalp also. And here there is nothing to make a buy. You see, it depends all the time where you look the chart, but you say, okay, here probably here it's a key zone, guys. Why? Because this is from your key zone, right? You say support, resistance. Okay, key zone, big key zone. Okay, but we are in the middle of Bollinger Bands, and stochastics is still in the middle. Okay, so this is not an indication in my environment to make a buy. Okay, you need to have all the stars aligned and take all the probability to your chart. Okay, you guys can tell me, yeah, it's easy. You don't see the price on live when it's moving, and you say, yeah, you could make a buy 2 days ago. But again, I'm showing you live where and when you should apply this type of settings and where you should not. And most of people here that make education and explain on YouTube, they will show you, yeah, resistance. There is a resistance. You need to sell when the price is coming back here. So in this case, it will work. Okay, but again, you need to add layers to your understanding in the chart. And that's why I have Bollinger Band, that's why I have stochastics. Again, there is a reason why I have actually those 2 settings. I will not enter into deep details, but it's volatility indicator and it's momentum indicator. and then you combine with price action, and it's doing the results. For my back test, Bollinger Bands and Stochastics works good in M15. I did a lot of back tests using M15. It works very well on M15. Again, you can apply to any time frame, but I worked a lot recently on M15 chart by using Stochastic and Bollinger Bands. And again, guys, if you have a chart and you don't understand the behavior, don't push yourself too much, okay? Actually, I don't understand what's happening in pound dollar. You see, I go to M5, M15, M30, not so clear here. Movement here, ups and down, coming back. It's like you know, a draft, okay? So when you feel like the chart is like a draft, you see like H4, there is no sense here. What's happening? I prefer not to touch and put it aside. Okay. My backtest is manual, and I will explain why. Because most of my signals, let's say if you only use stochastics and Bollinger Bands, you can use an automatic setup for making a backtest. However, when in my case, I'm using Bollinger Bands and stochastics, and I'm also applying price action and zone. Okay, on the automatical backtest, you cannot say to the machine, yeah, you need to tell me that here it's a resistance. Okay, it's still the human human brain that will say, okay, here it's a fair resistance for me. So of course you need to make let's say a model of understanding about what is a resistance, what is a support, and what is for me a key zone. Okay, all the time I'm talking about key zone. And if you go back to pound yen, for example, I need to say, okay, where are the key zones? Okay, or in the dollar yen, for example, I go to dollar yen, I go to H1, and I say, okay, this is key zone, this is key zone, this is key zone, but a machine cannot know that this is the key zone you have set. Okay, it's quite difficult to do that. Maybe AI, artificial intelligence, can today define what is a key zone according to the settings you're giving to the machine, but I'm quite regular to doing this manually. Do you think they could make a model like Gills, but from a strategy with stock and Bollinger Bands? I would be quite happy, guys, to share on a very long webinars and long course, let's say, in class, to explain my strategy and how I view the market. But it's quite a lot of work, and there is a lot of interesting stuff that's going to happen and coming in the 5ers. We have traded the pool also today. So I don't know if the time will let me do that, but of course, if I have free time, I would be more than happy to do that. And it only depends to me. If I want to do that and I'm happy to share this with you, I will do it, and I will be happy to share it with you. Okay, market just opened 10 minutes ago. I didn't find any. Was not ready for that, but let's check what's happening. Yeah, not so much in the opening. Make a high, touch the big zone, coming back. We will see if the market will go down to the previous low from last week. Yeah, nothing interesting actually. Euro USD still at the top. Again, not so much an indication for me to make a sell here. we'll see the next probably the next candle. If actually the market continue and make, you know, this type of making a new high, starting to stop, like you see here, the shape, not the shape, the sharp, I don't know how we say this in English, but you see like some type of an angle starting to create here, and F stochastics that would be here at the top, or at you know, crossing above 80. Might be good to make a sell again. We need to be patient. I need to see what's happening to make any sell here. I will see. Again, it's live market, so I cannot push that, but we'll see if it's happening. I see someone asking if I have any alerts. I don't have any alerts already, at least. I don't have any alerts, but I think it can be a nice thing to do, like in the dollar yen. But again, the alerts will be like, I need to go every day to the charts and make the alert. So I prefer to make the zone, and if I'm trading every day, so I will see the zones already. I don't need to make any alerts, I think, in my case. Are you expecting a triple top? Again, I don't know, and I cannot expect anything. From my experience, these type of things, you know, with time can create here a top in stochastics and losing momentum. As you know, guys, most of my strategy and a big amount of it is depends and upon to time. Okay, when you have a big movement in a small amount of time, this is for me an opportunity. Okay, so time is a big parameters into my strategy, and I all the time take this in consideration. Here, if we waste our time into this zone, this can be like stochastics can create here a cross around 80 and starting to get down. Again, actually not a lot of things. I would prefer to wait. Yeah, maybe you can find a tutorial on YouTube and you know, maybe create a script when you get an email on your alert. I don't know, you know, you can find some stuff like that. Yeah, nothing interesting, guys, today. Hi, Batista. No, we are not offering any copy trader options, but you can find on the web very easily. You can find one and copy your trades between the accounts. But we are not offering any trade copier, actually. Ruben, you think the stock market will crash? Definitely no. Already give my explanation about that. If I look at the S&P, it depends. What do you mean crash? If it's 10% down, yeah, we can go back 10% into, I don't know, this zone. But if you can define it as a crash, I don't know, and I'm not sure, because it will give a lot of buying spot. Again, you need guys to be careful about this zone that I found also just before. Let me get rid of this. If we took the daily chart, if we go even to the weekly, so you see guys, we have not succeeding to make an higher high in a big, if you make a big zoom out, the stock market didn't succeed to make a higher high. Maybe in the beginning of 2023 with better news and better better economy in the US, we can break actually this zone. If we break it actually to the top side, we will start not being any bearish on the stock markets. I'm not sure if you guys, some of you on the chat, are still bearish on the US stock market. And I already been talking about if the price hold this type of zone. You see, this is the big zone, and we were not so far about the top of the COVID. You see, it was probably 3% difference between the top of the COVID and the market bounce. I say, okay, if the market by the end of 2022 hold this zone, we will move from a bearish momentum. This was a long bearish momentum into a neutral. Okay, so actually you see inflation are still high, but not so much because we are still in US. I mean, the inflation is still going down. So I'm expecting a neutral movement actually in 2022 and 2023. Sorry, if we can expect a new high, depends about a lot of things, about a lot of news. I'm still expecting inflation to be lower in US. If you see the Forex factory, I already showed that, let's say the inflation, I mean, like, okay, during the COVID and during all this uptrend, it was like that. And suddenly inflation came to here, for example, just an example. Okay, so this is inflation number, so 2%, 1.5, 2%, 3%, whatever it is. And then when we had in US quantitative easing and printing a lot of money, increasing interest rate. Meanwhile, inflation topped to probably 10% in US, if I remember, and then we create a top, and actually we are at 7%. Okay, like we just like make a top. Okay, and the market go down and go back to average. So again, I don't think we can find in the next months to have inflation above the 10%, which is already a high watermark for me. If this happens, gold will be at 3,000, 4,000, and cash actually will not have any value, so I think economy and banks and all government together don't want to have this scenario. So that's why I'm expecting inflation to go down and stock market to be better. We have technology stocks that crashed down during 2022. On Nasdaq, you see that the gap is even higher. So there is a lot of space to go on the top side. This is the thing I would look, and in historical, you see that technological stocks, S&P tends to go up. So I'm not bearish at all in stocks market. I'm more neutral, bullish. Okay. This is how I see the things. How it's going, man? I'm going well. Thank you, Luis. Thank you very much. Do you think Bitcoin is already bottomed and we are on an uptrend? Again, I don't know about Bitcoin. I'm investing myself every month, so my portfolio was hit very crucially last year. But when you have a long-term perspective by investing in crypto, again, I believe in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years from now, crypto will be a huge part of the financial economy in the world. So we are young, and I know, you know, let's say my intuition will tell that. We see a lot of banks and institutional funds putting themselves into crypto. So of course, a lot of people getting afraid by looking crypto moving from 60K to 15K in a year. But that's part of the game. That's part of crypto. It's very volatile. I don't know if we can say we touched the bottom. I hope so. But if you ask me about my expectation in 5 years, I would say, okay, my expectation in 5 years is Bitcoin to be above 100K, 120K. This is what I think. Again, not any financial advice. This is only what I think, and I'm doing it for myself. And if you touch the bottom, I don't know, bro. I don't know. What I know is that I don't trade Bitcoin on a daily basis. Okay, so what we have in the Euro USD, we have like a few more minutes to end the stream. Do we have any indication? Not so much. It's not. You see, I want to see like this type of stochastics behavior. You see, moving, starting to be flat, making a top, crossing. Okay, here it's not so clear, so prefer to pass. Again, depends what's going to happen in the next few minutes or the next hours. Okay, guys. Think we reached the end. Appreciate your time being with me as usual. Consistently on Tuesday, I'm making those trading room, using my mindset, using my strategy, discussing with you about a lot of things and about markets. I appreciate your time being with me. I appreciate also sharing my analysis and what I think. Again, I wish you a nice end of the day, nice week, and also Happy New Year for the guys that I didn't wish anything before. So guys, Happy New Year, happy day, and happy week. Wish you success. See you guys, and we stay in touch for next Tuesday. See you guys. Thank you very much.